For more on this, we're now joined by Farai Maguwu, Executive Director for Centre for Natural Resources Governance in Zimbabwe. For more, Farai, thank you so much for joining us here on the late edition. Of course, voting has come and gone. How would you describe the voting processes over the past 2 days?
Thank you so much for having me. I think today voting went on peacefully, largely throughout the country, except in some areas like Mutasa Central, where some agents of the opposition were allegedly assaulted. We've seen pictures circulating with bloodied faces of the agents. But to a large extent, voting has taken place peacefully, and now throughout the country, voting has ended. And we are now entering the most delicate phase of this election process, which is the collation of results. And I think the mood in the country is that of cautious expectation of the outcome of their votes. So people are cautiously waiting, and I think it's a time when the credibility and the reliability of ZEC is being put to test again. So the whole nation is calm, but I can say there are concerns with the delays that happened over the past 2 days as to what really caused those delays. Could there be some hidden strategies behind the delays? Nobody knows.
And one would ask for, has there been a proper explanation as to why we saw, delays in some parts of Zimbabwe, especially during such a crucial time? One would say this could have been avoided, especially, from the Zimbabwean Electoral Commission.
So far, the explanation that has been given by ZEC is that there were numerous court applications in the period leading to the election day, so they could not proceed to print the ballots before the court processes had been finalized. But again, the question would be, why then did they proceed to call for the election and ask people to go out to vote when they knew very well that the voting material was not present in those polling stations? If ZEC could not print the ballot papers on time because of court processes, then they had a very plausible reason to ask for a delay of the election. They could postpone the election, say by a week. There was no hurry, indeed, so that they could do things right. So as a result of these delays, suspicions are flying all over, and people are very worried that the delay may actually compromise the election itself.
My colleague Khalihle Khumalo, I don't know if you saw that insert we played a bit earlier on. It seems as if the extension of the polls brought a lot of relief to many Zimbabweans. Do you think that some of them are satisfied with the way the elections were run, especially seeing the extension allowing those, whose names do not appear on the voters' roll to continue to cast their votes, especially where we also saw a number of delays at some of those polling stations?
Yeah, there are a lot of concerns. Some of them start with the delimitation exercise itself. It was very controversial. They were even taken to court that they did not follow the laid down procedures in coming up with the delimitation map. And then you have these cases of many people who also could not appear on the voters' roll when those people had actually registered on the BVR when the process was unveiled about 3-4 years ago. So there are a lot of concerns regarding the vote itself, how people perceive the freeness and the fairness of the whole exercise. So there are grievances. But despite those grievances, I think still there is some jubilant expectation on both the ruling party and the main opposition, Triple C. At this stage, both parties are hoping that somehow they got the majority in parliament and they'll have their candidate as the president of the republic. So that's why things are calm at the moment, because both parties are still hopeful that somehow they make it.
How would you characterize these elections? Do you think that it was indeed a credible election?
It's very difficult, especially given that the phase we are entering now is the most critical one of voter tabulation.
Unfortunately, it seems as if we have lost Farai again. That is Farai Maguwu, the Executive Director for the Center for Natural Resource and Governance in Zimbabwe.